3.5 years into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the question isn't just about when this war will end, it's about where to draw the line. President Putin's latest demand is stark. Ukraine must cede the entire Donbas region before Russia stops fighting. But what does that actually mean on the ground? To understand today's battlefield, we need to go back to 2014. This is when Russia first seized Crimea and fomented separatist movements in eastern Ukraine. For 8 years, the Frontline remained largely static, until February 2022. Russia's full-scale invasion brought swift territorial gains. By March 2022, Russian forces had reached their high-water mark, controlling nearly a quarter of Ukraine and threatening the capital. But then came Ukraine's counteroffensives. Ukrainian forces pushed back dramatically, recapturing most of the Kharkiv region and forcing Russians across the Dnipro River. By November 2022, Russia had lost many areas it seized earlier in the war. Today, the situation has largely stabilized around a 750-mile front, almost the distance from Chicago to New York. Russia controls about 20% of Ukraine's territory, but Putin's prize remains elusive, the complete Donbas region. Here's what's at stake. Russia controls most of Luhansk, but Ukraine still holds over 2,500 square miles of Donetsk, including the strategic cities of Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. This territory, roughly the size of Delaware, houses 200,000 Ukrainian civilians and represents Ukraine's most heavily fortified defensive positions.
On the ground, this is no longer a war of rapid advances. As surveillance drones make large movements deadly, Russian forces have adapted to a new reality. Small groups of infantry, often just 2 or 3 soldiers, infiltrating Ukrainian lines on foot or by motorbike. The fighting around Pokrovsk exemplifies this new warfare. In July alone, Russia captured over 200 square miles through these infiltration tactics, their largest gains since 2022. But Ukraine has largely pushed them back, trapping Russian units and forcing surrenders. Behind these incremental battles are real human costs. Families like this one, evacuated from advancing Russian forces, represent the ongoing displacement crisis. Every village captured or defended carries profound consequences for the people who call it home.
As peace negotiations intensify, Putin is racing against time, using every day to grab more territory before any deal is struck. Ukrainian Colonel Dmytro Kuleba puts it bluntly. He doesn't care how many Russian soldiers die. What matters is seizing as much of Donetsk as possible to enter negotiations from a stronger position. The maps tell a story of incremental gains measured in hundreds of yards, not miles. But for the soldiers fighting and civilians fleeing, every inch of this 750-mile front represents the difference between freedom and occupation, between home and exile. The question therefore remains, where will the